What's up, sons? It's Blind Run with Son of a Tech once again, and today we're going to take a look at the pros and cons between SMOS, aka Simple Mining OS, and Hive OS. Both of these are great Linux distributions for your mining rigs or just your gaming computer while you're at work. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at them right after this. Son of a Tech has t-shirts now. We now have the I Bought Your GPU t-shirt in case you want to show off to your friends that you stayed up all night waiting for that suggested retail priced GPU to finally pop at your favorite retailer, or you worked overtime and just went ahead and paid the extra cost. Either way, let them know that you're putting it to good use whether you're gaming or mining. Welcome back. So SMOS and Hive OS both handle mining in a similar fashion. You install it to a live USB or a bootable USB, and you boot your mining rig to it and then ultimately control it through a web GUI. This is very convenient and very handy for multiple reasons. You can also control multiple rigs and apply the same profiles across all of these rigs so that you aren't going through each individual rig and changing settings. It can be really great if you're trying to get a farm up, which is what Hive OS primarily focuses on, while Simple Mining appears to focus on the home as well as the farms all in all together. That being said, you'd be surprised at the advantages you'd get with Hive OS for home mining, not least of which is going to be the pricing. If you scroll down on the Hive OS main page, you'll see that you can test up to 3 rigs for free. It also clarifies that these 3 rigs can be used for free in home mining situations. So if you're mining from home, definitely take a look at Hive OS to save some extra money. However, if you're running a farm, Hive OS is going to cost you $1 extra a month compared to SMOS's $2 a month. So you're looking at $3 a rig, and once you hit 4 rigs, you have to pay for the previous 3 rigs that you were just testing with. So keep all of that in mind for both of these as far as pricing goes. The rest of the positives for Hive OS are pretty simple here. The first one is going to be that you can actually configure the CPU miner through the web GUI. It already has XMR stack CPU installed, and all you have to do is, similarly to the way you program the addresses in and the overclocking, etc. for your GPUs, you can go ahead and do for your CPU. SMOS does not support this feature, and if you want to mine on your CPU, you're going to have to go ahead and follow the guide in this video and manually install it through an SSH session. Wow, that's SSH session. Let's just call it a remote session. Once you have it configured though, it's not that hard because you can set it to go ahead and start CPU mining on reboot with the script that I also put at the end of that video. So now for the negative side of Hive OS. Since we've kind of given them the big pump in the beginning, let's go ahead and knock them down a level. If you're going to be using Hive OS, you're going to have a monitor to do the initial configuration. Unlike with SMOS, where you can just go ahead and enter your email into the config file from the computer that you created the image on, with Hive OS you have to actually go ahead and register your rig with a monitor, keyboard, and of course mouse. The next negative to Hive OS is that you cannot use the iGPU for the initial configuration, and you cannot have it set as the default monitor if you want to utilize Hive OS at all times, because the operating system does have an actual GUI with it. Means that you're going to have the GPU or a GPU that's installed into the system, the primary display adapter. This can also be a downside because it could, in theory, affect the hash rate on the GPU that's being used for the primary adapter. Even if you don't have a monitor plugged in, it will take resources up on that GPU to enable things like VNC Viewer. While the GUI can be a positive for some, this can also end up being a negative and also cause some other issues for troubleshooting. However, it can, like I said, make it easier for some people to go ahead and navigate through. Don't forget to enable 2-factor authentication, as both of them support it, and if you're going to use it for any sort of extended period of time, it's going to be the most secure option for you there. I also recommend making sure you do not open SSH up to the internet, so don't open port 22 on your router, and keep all of that in your local network so you can stay extra secure. In conclusion, however, I would say that if you're mining on your gaming rig, Hive OS is probably going to be the best option. There's a couple reasons for this. A, the big negative that's going to affect you there that I mentioned earlier with the primary graphics adapter being a GPU is already kind of taking care of itself because you're mining on your gaming rig, which is already using a GPU as your primary adapter. The next thing is that if you're using it, you're not going to have to pay a fee because you're home mining, so that's a huge positive right there. And finally, it supports CPU mining right out of the box. If you have any suggestions or I missed something about either one of these operating systems, please be sure to let me know in the comment section below. I would love a like, I would love a comment, but if you didn't like, you can hit the dislike and let me know why, of course, in the comment section below. And I will see you next Tuesday.